Welcome to Dusty Thoughts, brought to you by Doritos Blaze, the official chip of Dusty Thoughts. You know what, man? I have such a great, deep appreciation for Doritos and the company of Doritos that I decided to call the Doritos hotline and tell them how fucking great their chips are. Wow, there's like 1 million callers for Doritos today? I have to wait 4 minutes? Hi, I just wanted to call and tell you guys about like your new Doritos Blaze. They're really great. Like I love them, and like I called you guys like 10 years ago when I was like in elementary school, and like I told you guys how much I loved the spicy nacho ones, and like I don't know if I'm responsible for keeping them on the Doritos lineup, but like I feel like a little bit, I contributed a little bit to it. Because those are still like my favorite chips like ever. But like keep the Blaze on, man. Like they're awesome. Like they're fucking good. Awesome. All right. Thanks for your help, man. You too. That was very uneventful. I'm really fucking sad about this. Brought to you by Doritos Blaze, the official chip of Dusty Thoughts.
Keep the Blaze on, man.
I'm like a bird, I only fly away. I don't know where my soul is.
I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 films in my letterbox. Ooh, in my letterbox. Ooh, in my letterbox. Ooh, in my letterbox. Yeah. I tried syncing that up like 97 times. Okay, the Duster's here. I've seen 25 films, like I just told you, and this year is just yeah, I'm not a fan of it so far. It's kind of like a continuation of last year. I'm here to talk about all the films I've seen so far. So buckle up! Here's the worst movie of the year so far.
She was the girl of my dreams.
That was the moment.
Okay, fuck off. Worst movie of the year so far is When We First Met, and it stars my boy. I fucking hate this guy. He keeps being shoved down my throat every chance Netflix has. Since he bombed on the big screen with Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates, we need to give fucking Adam Devine 2 movies in 2 months. And don't worry, I'll talk about the other one in a little bit. When We First Met is a romantic comedy produced by Mick G, which is not surprising at all. It's directed by the person who directed The Duff, which was a movie about a girl being called ugly the entire movie just because she's slightly more overweight than her friends. And Bella Thorne is a bitch in it. Hot as fuck, though. Anyway, this movie is about Adam Devine, and he's this lovable loser type. And he falls in love with Alexandra Daddario, of course, because she looks like Alexandra Daddario. Like, she doesn't really have much personality, people. I know people like her a lot, but it's just because she's beautiful.
You didn't guess that I was an army brat. You already knew that. You're a stalker.
And Alexandra Daddario is marrying Robbie Amell, of course, because they're both beautiful people and they need to fucking spew out, grade A babies that Hitler would love. Hi, this is Doritos Blaze. On behalf of Dusty's Thoughts, we'd like to apologize because we're not even sure we know what Dusty meant by that. And we're not even sure if Dusty knows what he meant by that. But always remember, Doritos Blaze.
Keep the Blaze on, man.
And this movie's absolutely infuriating because Adam Devine is painted as such like, he's such a lovable loser and he needs to hook up with Alexandra Daddario because that's every guy's fantasy. Not to witness Adam Devine fucking Alexandra Daddario, that's for fucking sure. He travels back in time. It's like another Groundhog Day ripoff movie. We haven't had like 8 of those in the last 3 years. He goes back in a photo booth now, so okay. And he wakes up 3 years in the past, And then the next day he wakes up, it's the same day 3 years ahead in the future. So it's just a time loop movie, just like that fucking Marlon Wayans movie that came out last year on Netflix. Dun dun. I love how the Netflix theme is like almost the Law and Order theme. I feel like they should be taken to court when they make movies like this. And I'm doing that fucking shit with my arms. And you know what? This movie's brought me to the point where I don't care if I do this with my arms. You know, if Adam Devine's allowed to be a movie star, I think I could just do this with my arms without any punishment. So Adam Devine, he concocts this plan of like trying to trick Alexander Daddario into falling in love with him. So he just develops this fake persona. You've seen a romantic comedy before, right? I really don't have to go into it. Ends up taking his friend's promotion that he deserved instead, played by King Bach. And yeah, King Bach is out acting and Adam Devine in a movie. That's how fucking untalented Adam Devine is. And you know what? I liked Adam Devine just fine on the first few seasons of Workaholics, and then, just like his shtick, that show got old really quick. Why am I sounding like Dr. Seuss? There's a point in this movie where his character becomes, like, super rich, and he's successfully engaged to Alexander Daddario, but here's the catch. She's not in love with him. She's, a gold digger. And her best friend, played by the girl from Unfriended, who was horrible in that movie, and she's better in this movie, but who gives a fuck? It's When We First Met. She's basically tells him, yeah, she's with you for your money. And like, by that point in the movie, we're come to realize, wow, Adam Devine really doesn't have a chance with Alexander Daddario at all. Not only because he's a really uninteresting and douchebag person, he's just a terrible person in this movie.
Stalkers wear like trench coats and no underwear, and I am clearly wearing underwear. Look.
And just the message is so muddled, and it's like he ends up with the unfriended girl at the end. I mean, is that really a fucking shocker? Like, the last 10 minutes of the movie, he realizes, oh, I screwed everything up. I have to make everything great again. I'm in love with the best friend. I'm not in love with Alexander Daddario because I know I never have a chance with her because she's just a gold-digging, beautiful whore. That's basically what the movie's saying. I'm not trying to come off as a chauvinist. That's what the movie said, all right? And that's how I interpreted it. Sue me. I like Alexander Daddario just fine. This movie's just a piece of shit. And then they have the balls to put this sort of scene in this movie, which perfectly sums up Adam Devine's career, ironically.
What's up, girl?
Are you doing a Joker impersonation?
Well, this is like, it was good.
If all else fails, be an asshole.
Be an asshole.
Not hard asshole, soft asshole.
Don't forget your leather pants.
Oh my God. I went full asshole.
No, Adam, you were always a full-on asshole. And I fucking have to talk about him again in a couple movies. Alright, my number 24 pick, second worst movie of the year, is Insidious Chapter 4, The Last Key. And the funny thing about this movie, besides nothing, is the fact that the story behind me seeing this movie is probably more entertaining than this entire movie. I only saw the first Insidious. I didn't see the second or third one. I just saw the first one and now this one. I'll tell you the story. Not the story for Insidious Chapter 4, The Last Key. I'm gonna tell you the story of how I saw this movie and what happened. I went on a date, and I guess, and the whole movie, I wanted to make out, and, like, I didn't. And I didn't get any ass that night. At all. I'm not saying all girls should but, like, we just saw a really shitty movie, and we didn't do anything during it. And, like, it was so boring, and nothing happened. There was barely, like, anything that freaked me out in this. I guess the acting was alright. I don't really care. Lynn Shay is the most notable actor in this movie. She's the mom from Detroit Rock City, a.k.a. the most evil on-screen mom of all time. Detroit Rock City. See that fucking movie.
It's a girl walking along the side of the highway. They make scary movies that start out like that.
But they make porno movies that start out like that, too.
Detroit Rock City, rated R.
Didn't get a makeout sesh from this movie at all, and it was just... That's what really bothered me. I mean, the movie was whatever, but, like, I don't really remember it. end, it was not that important to me. It's just, I don't care. I mean, it's not a movie that really offended me. It's just like, I mean, the date was more offensive to me. All right, I'm moving on. Number 23. Let's fucking move on.
I'm first.
You gotta
Gotta be first.
What the fuck? Game over, man. It's game over.
So Netflix gave the Workaholics guys a fucking movie deal. It's the directorial debut of the creator of Workaholics, Kyle Newacek, who was actually one of my favorite parts of Workaholics. And as a directorial debut, I'd have to say the action scenes aren't awful. It's just the tone for this movie is all over the place, and I'll explain. The movie follows 3 maids, played by Adam Devine, Anders Holmes, and Blake Anderson. And for some reason, every room needs 3 maids to it to clean it. That's not fucking realistic. I lived in a residence inn for like 6 months when I was like 11. They only needed 1 maid for a room. What the fuck ever. I guess all hotels that are run by Daniel Stern need 3 maids to a room. And yeah, he's in this movie for some reason. And Adam Devine is a salvia dealer, I'm not joking, and Anders Holmes is a salvia addict. He first says, "Oh yeah, man, can you sell me some salvia?" I thought he was joking. No, he's being serious. He does salvia in this movie, and it's not even funny. Like, that's the thing about the Workaholics guys, is that they bring back, like, certain, like, trends from certain time periods, and they just don't know how to utilize them in a funny way. And they did that a lot on their show, and it just doesn't work even more so in this movie. I mean, the movie just doesn't work right off the bat because we're introduced to them, like in slow motion to them walking to, "I'm on a new level. Oh yeah, I'm on a new level. Look how fucking cool we are because we're walking in slow motion to a song that doesn't fit us at all." All right. And Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg are behind this movie too. They produced it with their production company, Point Grey Pictures, who, besides Sausage Party, they've turned out nothing but fucking masterpieces as far as I'm concerned. I'm pretty sure they did 50-50, they did The Night Before, The Interview, This Is the End. Just great movies. And now Game Over Man has to tarnish fucking Point Grey. They're supposed to be waiters. They go from being maids to waiters in the span of a night. They're trying to get this video game software off the ground that they invented, and they're trying to sell it to this the Bay of Tunisia, played by the Indian actor from Pitch Perfect, who's the funniest part of this movie, by the way, until the movie has him eat an ass, literally, and it's fucking weird. It's not funny, it's just fucking bizarre. And it feels like it's like from directly from like a straight to DVD American Pie sequel. Like that kind of humor. It's like that kind of humor mixed with the Farrelly Brothers kind of humor. And it's just completely off-putting. So the Bay of Tunisia is kidnapped, and all the people in the party, there's celebrities there. Yeah, that's another thing. They kill off Steve-O, Donald Faison, and Joel McHale in this movie for no fucking reason, other than they think random celebrity deaths are funny. Or just random death in general. These 3 guys just escape all this carnage, and they have to take down the bad guys. And there's this twist of, Neil McDonough, who's in, like, all these rock movies. Like, he was in Walking Tall, he was in Street Fighter, The Legend of Chun-Li. He's in a lot of really shitty action movies as the villain, and he's not really the villain in this movie. Spoiler alert! It's the Bay of Tunisia's fucking assistant, the butler, British guy, and once he becomes the villain, and even the fucking Indian actor from Pitch Perfect says it perfectly. He's like, "You're like the worst Bond villain." But, like, I don't even know if the movie was being ironic or not. Yeah, it's up to these 3 fucking idiots, and Adam Devine...
How do I forget that I have given her an extra key?
You're not fucking Jack Black, for God's sakes! Like, you're not! They have him do so many scenes where he's just improvising, and he's just, like, enunciating certain words and, like, putting, like, emphasis on certain words that shouldn't have emphasis.
My name is Alex, with 3 X's. I'm about to go explosive on these motherfuckers!
He's the strangest comedic star of our time. Nothing that he says is funny, and we're supposed to believe that he's changed throughout this whole movie by the end. And no, he's still a selfish piece of shit, and in the middle of this movie, he does something, like, unforgivable. And this is his most sociopathic character, because he ends up killing people in this movie. You remember how in Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates, he tried killing his cousin? Well, he actually kills people in this movie. All of them do. But he is just the worst, and he's a terrible character. Anders Holmes is... I kind of feel bad for his character because he's given nothing to do other than be sarcastic Anders Holmes like he usually is, and he's just a salvia addict. Blake Anderson is obviously the funniest out of the three guys in general.
We the Brady Bunch. We the Brady Bunch. We the Brady Bunch.
Do you think Tom Brady is in the Brady Bunch?
It's the dad, right?
No, he isn't.
And in this movie as well, because even though they give him a very predictable subplot where he's gay and they foreshadow it the entire movie, and I don't know what this movie was going for in terms of, like, they try to put this message in of, like, oh yeah, be comfortable with your sexuality. Like when the Indian guy eats out that fat guy's ass in the middle of this movie, it's like, yeah man, I've fucked thousands of women. You don't think 10 guys have gotten in there? It's like, alright, way to be progressive during a fucking eating ass scene. And then the violence in this movie is some of the most gratuitous violence I've ever seen for no reason. It's like it's out of a different movie. It has it's even more violent than the original Die Hard was, and it's just mind-boggling. You see a million severed penises in this movie. You see Adam Devine's penis in this movie for like 6 minutes. I'm not kidding, and like that's just adding on to the things I hate about Adam Devine now. I had to see his fucking penis, or if it was his fake penis, who gives? He sucks. They kill a dog in this movie. They kill a fucking dog for the villain to say this really horrible punchline where it's just like, oh yeah, there's so much fucking blood everywhere. It's like he's a fucking bloodhound. Great joke writing. And by the end of this movie, we're supposed to believe that none of them would get arrested. Like, if anybody was in a situation like this and they ended up killing as many people as they end up killing, I know they were technically the good guys, but like they killed people anyway. Like they wouldn't get any punishment for that at all. No, I guess everyone that does that would just get a goddamn video game distributing deal by Mark Cuban, right? I think that's how it would work out for everyone. And this movie has the balls to fucking leave itself open for goddamn sequel. Oh my god, no, Game Overboard. Oh, that's what it's gonna be called. Fucking shoot yourself. I really do have respect for these workaholics guys, but like, they're really peaking. They really peaked. I laughed a few times in this movie, and that's why it's not a 1 out of 10.
How could I forget that I have given her an extra key? All this time she was standing there, she never took her eyes off me. Oh, you forgive no man access to your villa.
Shaggy goes on to finish the song.
It's really fucking close in spirit. And as far as Adam Devine goes, like, I think I'd like him more if he wasn't the same fucking character in every goddamn movie I see him in. And he just gets progressively worse in everything I see. And he's just evil. He's just an evil, unfunny person in his movies. And he doesn't have half the charm. A quarter of the charm. A fucking half a milligram of the charm that Jack Black or Dan Fogler or Josh Gad or any funny, fat, popular actor in the last 15 years has.
Wasn't it? I can't believe I followed a loser like you around for years.
I'm not a loser!
Guys, stop! You just shot at me?
I shot near you, bitch.
And I'm fucking done with this movie.
Game over, man. It's game over.
So next up is Mute. Another Netflix movie. You just keep them coming, don't you? Mute is directed by Duncan Jones, who's given us Source Code, which is the only one of his films I've seen. He's also done Moon and Warcraft. I thought Source Code was really fucking cool, and I was hearing that this was like a spiritual sequel to Moon, and it's really horrible. Alexander Skarsgård plays a mute Amish bartender in Germany. He's in love with this blue-haired chick, and she's horrible actress, terribly underwritten character, and you don't really care about her. She disappears. He's on the look for her. That's the whole movie, and then in the middle of the movie, he meets up with Paul Rudd, who's in this movie, and Justin Theroux, and they play two doctors who were former soldiers in the U.S. Army. I'm not going to spoil this movie. All I'm going to say is that it's batshit crazy for no reason. Story just isn't compelling, and the dialogue is all over the place, and the aesthetic the movie has, like the whole selling point is that, oh, it's this futuristic society, and it basically looks like fucking Blade Runner, almost entirely. Like, it completely jacks Blade Runner's tone and, like, look. It's quite insulting. It's really annoying. Like, this movie is not on the same level as Blade Runner, both visually and narratively, or acting-wise. Really, the only performances in this movie that are anything special are Justin Theroux, and especially Paul Rudd, who's absolutely incredible in this movie. Paul Rudd, he just shows a completely different side of himself. It's one of the best performances of the year and of his career. This probably is the best dramatic performance he's ever given. He's so intense in this movie. He's hysterical like he usually is, but in a different way. Not in the typical way that you know Paul Rudd to be funny. He's funny in a really dark way. And the movie, like, tries to make him a villain, which fails because he's the most compelling character of the entire movie. You don't give a fuck about Alexander Skarsgård's character because he's not particularly interesting or smart or... He's just fucking boring. He's a boring, mute, German motherfucker. Fuck him. And then they just try to make Justin Theroux a pedophile in this movie. For no fucking reason. Like, honestly, Duncan Jones is just seeing what's gonna stick to the wall the whole time. He's throwing shit at the wall, seeing what sticks, and it's fucking insane. And by the end of this movie, it just felt like a chore. The violence is really fucking off-putting. And the one likable character in the movie is the villain. What the fuck? I do highly recommend you watching this movie just to see how much of a fucking disaster it turned out to be. And for the fact that Paul Rudd delivers a career best performance because he's fucking insanely good in this. And sadly, it's a movie that's so bad that people will ignore how great Paul Rudd is in the film. And it's a shame. Bruce, if you're not going to try, Dusty's not going to try. You want to know how this year sucks? Hurricane Heist was a better attempt at a Die Hard ripoff than Game Over Man.
Here goes nothing. You better hope not.
Let's get the money.
That thing wants to swallow us whole.
Hurricane Heist follows everyone's favorite cowboy, Toby Kebbell, who's doing an odd but effective cowboy accent in this movie. You know, Southerner. You know, not all our Southerners are cowboys there, Dusty. I don't know what the fuck that was. And he plays a meteorologist. Yeah, I'm gonna be a weatherman one day. I'm Toby Kebbell. And he has a brother played by Ryan Quanten, and he's a meteorologist, Toby Kebbell, because their dad died in a hurricane. He was murdered by a hurricane. That would have been a really better title for this movie. I guess this heist gets involved with the hurricane because Maggie Grace plays this... She's one of those guards for those armored trucks, and she's a guard for the Federal Reserve. I don't care. This movie was kind of fun. Like, it knew what it was. It's from the director of the first Fast and the Furious movie, and Triple X, and Mummy, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor. Yup, that director. This movie could have been absolute dog shit, but it kind of relished in the fact that it was trying to be dog shit. Mainly this movie works because of the performances by Toby Kebbell and Maggie Grace, and Maggie Grace isn't particularly an actress I'm a fan of, especially because in the Taken movies she runs like this.
Dad, there's Amanda.
Go ahead. I'll get the bags.
Can anybody tell me what that was? But she's actually really charming in this movie, despite, you know, the script is typical, and the dad from The Witch, the Vivitch, is the Alan Rickman stand-in, and he's pretty terrible in this movie. It's kind of forgettable, it's schlocky, but I had fun with it. I don't know. Here I am, rock you like a hurricane, right? Fun movie to rent and get stoned to. Okay, go rent it and get stoned to it. I could give a fuck.
Just get away from me, okay, Uncle Neil? Jesus! Just leave me alone. I'm not gonna work in a cheese sandwich factory the rest of my life.
But Gord, you're throwing my cheese! You're throwing my cheese! You're throwing my cheese! You're throwing my cheese!
Cheese sucks. Cheese sandwich factories suck, and only stupid idiots work in cheese sandwich factories. And I'm not a stupid idiot, so you can take this job and you can shove it in your ass. You can shove some cheese in your ass.
All right, next movie I'm talking about is The Vanishing of Sidney Hall, a movie you guys have definitely never heard of. It's directed by Sean Christensen, who is actually from my hometown. So this is the sort of shit my hometown produces. It's a very mediocre movie about an author played by Logan Lerman, and he gives his best performance since The Perks of Being a Wallflower, no doubt. He's terrific in this movie, but an hour into it, it kind of fucking loses its mind. It kills off characters in the dumbest ways and contrived ways. You get great performances out of Kyle Chandler and Blake Jenner. Michelle Monaghan and fucking Elle Fanning were both horrendous in this. I do have hope for this director. His first film, Before I Disappear, which was originally a short film that he won an Oscar for, and it was turned into a feature-length film, and that film is great. Watch Before I Disappear. You could skip this.
Gucci gang, 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 Gucci gang. Spread their backs on new chain. My bitch love do cocaine.
Alright, next up is The Strangers Pray at Night. I was a fan of the original Strangers back when I used to babysit. Yes, this goofy fuck used to babysit. I liked the first movie. I thought it was pretty well done for a horror movie, and I'm not a horror guy, as you guys know. And plus, it has fucking Liv Tyler in it. She's only like 18 years older than me. I mean, it's still kind of gross, but like, she can get it. If it was going to be a thing, I was like, is it going to be like a direct sequel? Because the first one didn't really leave it open for a sequel, in my opinion, at all. I just don't know. It just seemed like a cash grab at first. Now they're trying to tell me that, like, oh, it's based off a true story, this movie. It's like, okay. You're telling me, like, there's a brother in real life who got into a knife fight at a hotel pool in the middle of a night where no one's around, and Bonnie Tyler's Total Eclipse of the Heart is playing in the background? I call bullshit that this was a true story, is what I'm saying. Then you got the little girl from Bridge to Terabithia, and holy shit, she's beautiful now. The lead in this movie, and she plays kind of like a bitchy teenager, and Christina Hendricks and Martin Henderson, the lead from Torque, very underrated. They play her parents, and she has some shitty brother who likes baseball. It has a really boring setup, this movie, and then they just start getting murdered in really interesting ways. And while I wish more of the movie had that fast-paced edge to it that the middle half of this movie has, it just starts off really slow, but they had to fill in time because this movie's like barely 85 minutes. The best scene of the film, and one of the best scenes I've seen in a horror movie in a very long time, too bad it's in a mediocre movie, is the scene I talked about with Bonnie Tyler playing on in the background. It's fucking great. The cinematography is great for a horror film. Other than that, the ending of this movie doesn't make any fucking sense. I mean, they're in a hospital, and then they just hear a knock on the door, like, knock, 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 knock. It's like, it can't be the Strangers. They're not going to a fucking hospital. In the end, I thought this was kind of disappointing, though. It doesn't really answer anything. It's kind of still kind of like a retread of the first. But it still has interesting scenes, interesting moments, interesting performances. I think everyone in the film gets better as the film progresses. Like, Bailey Madison gets better, even though I'm pretty sure the director of this film was, like, obsessed with her, like, panting. Because she was panting, like, 90% of this movie. Every scene, she's just like... Leave
us alone! But we've just started.
Okay, so The Commuter is the next film I'm talking about, and it's directed by Jaume Collet-Serra, and it stars Liam Neeson and Vera Farmiga, and it's the fourth collaboration between Jom Kale Sarah and Liam Neeson, and it's better than Unknown, but I like Nonstop and especially Run All Night way more than this. I mean, it has some fun moments, but in the end, it's just fucking Liam Neeson on a goddamn train. I don't really get like the huge letterbox cult following Jom Kale Sarah has gotten. Like he just makes kind of just movies that should be worse than they are, but luckily he's best friends with Liam Neeson. I don't fucking know. It's the fucking Commuter. Alright, Netflix made another movie that I could just watch right here in my little cocoon called Roxanne Roxanne. It's about the famous rapper from the 80s, Roxanne Shante. It's another hip-hop biopic. It's not better than Notorious or Straight Outta Compton, but it's better than the Tupac biopic, All Eyes on Me. I think the performances is what definitely elevates it. The main actress that plays Roxanne Shante, Shante Adams, is terrific. And Nia Long steals the entire movie with a potential best performance of her career. It's just the movie gets really cliched, and I'm already forgetting about it. What am I talking about? Coming in at number 15 is Mom and Dad, starring Nicolas Cage.
Put your right foot in, you take your right foot out, you do the hokey pokey and you fucking work it all out.
Obviously fucking see that.
I'm just like you, except I have one huge ass secret.
Hey! I like your boots! I said I like your boots!
Ha! Gay!
I was not looking forward to this. I thought this movie looked really offensive.
She's cute, but she's just not really my type. Not because she's black. I love black women. Not like, I have a thing for black women. I just love all women.
It had some of the worst trailers I've ever seen, actually. And the marketing for it, like the promotional marketing for it, is horrendous. Like, look at this. This ended up being kind of a pleasant surprise. I originally thought Nick Robinson was going to be like miscast in this movie because he just didn't. It looked like he was like a jock doing an impression of like a gay kid.
I think I'm falling in love with you.
Wow, thank you. Be right back. Wasn't my proudest moment.
Once I saw the movie, I thought he definitely did a good job, especially with the flimsy material he's given. I think there's plenty of moments in this movie that are super cringy and not in a good way or relatable way, in a totally unrealistic way. So many lines in this movie that just made me want to cover my ears just because of how badly delivered they were. And then Logan Miller, who's not a terrible up-and-coming actor, he has a good level of charisma to him. I thought his character was deplorable and just absolutely horribly written. And I kind of just blame the writing for his character more than the performance. He plays this guy who's blackmailing Nick Robinson, and if he doesn't, go along with his plan, he's going to add him to the whole school. Which, honestly, it's a movie set in today. And if someone was to do that at a high school now, I'm pretty sure the kids in this sort of environment we live in now would just totally turn on the guy who outed the gay kid. So it just didn't really make sense to me, and I just didn't buy the high school environment in this movie. What I did buy, however, was the genuineness Nick Robinson brought to this movie.
I'm supposed to be the one that decides when and where and who knows. That's supposed to be my thing.
And Jennifer Garner and fucking Josh Duhamel.
Nacho cheese sauce, Mexican spices. They don't want these coming out.
Who's they?
The burger people. They.
What the fuck? Whenever he decides to act, he's great. They're both awesome in this movie as his parents. The rest of this movie I could have gone without like everyone's fucking theatrics and melodrama. Like, I really didn't like his friends very much. One of his friends is played by the girl from 13 Reasons Why, the one who just says, "Why, Zach? Why me?" I just wanted to do an impression of her. She's kind of like the same character in this movie, except she doesn't want to commit suicide. There's something that's revealed about her character in this movie that I saw coming from like the very beginning. His other two friends are also pretty annoying, and I'm kind of getting sick of the fact that Alexandra Shipp, every movie she's in, she has to be called like the hot chick in the movie. She's the hot one. Oh, like there's a point in this movie where she's wearing like a Wonder Woman costume, and like one of the other characters says, "Whoa, she's the sexiest Wonder Woman I've ever seen," and like she's not hotter than Gal Gadot. Don't even stop it. Stop it. Fucking stop it. And I'm just not really that impressed with her acting ability yet. Logan Miller at one point has to be embarrassed by the entire school. Like, he goes up and interrupts the national anthem. First of all, that would have totally not been tolerated. Second, he professes his love for Alexandra Shipp, and then Alexandra Shipp comes down and she's like, "Oh, well, I don't really think of you that way." And then he just outs him to the entire school, Simon. Like, ooh, he's gay. Don't pay attention to Martin Addison and his fucking diatribe that he's writing on this Craigslist ripoff site that everyone in school is reading. This movie isn't realistic at all. And people are already calling it a classic, and I think there's admirable things about it. How it handles being gay in high school. I think it did a pretty good job with that, just because Nick Robinson was the anchor this movie had. Could have gone with a lot of the, without a lot of the fucking sophomoric humor this throws in. I did love the one drama teacher in this movie who's absolutely hysterical in every scene she's in, Natasha Rothwell. She's that good that I looked up her name, and she used to be on Wild and Out. She's the funniest thing in this movie. I'm not even fucking kidding. Other than that, I think this movie's kind of a fucking annoying. There was a point in this movie where Logan Miller just quotes at two separate occasions Eric Andre.
"I know you from somewhere, dude." Really? You're Simple Simon.
Sup, Simple Simon?
Your mom is Jewish and your dad is Haitian.
Yeah, I'm bluish. Black and Jewish, black and Jewish, black and Jewish, black and Jewish.
The movie never brings up that they're Eric Andre quotes, and it's just like, oh, he just came up with them on his own. And the movie's trying to like paint guys who wear graphic tees. Like, Simon points out to Logan Miller in one scene, "Oh yeah, girls don't like to read your shirts." And I'm like, fuck you, Simon. What the fuck do you... Not all people that wear graphic tees and quote Eric Andre are all assholes, is what I'm saying. I give this movie a 6 out of 10. It's the one movie I give a rating to.
This is about to get romantic as F.
Yo, dude, do you want some ranch? Take your shirt off, dude. Let me see your breasts.
Dusty's got the 80s nostalgia for Steven Spielberg's Ready Player One. More like I'm Ready Player done with all this nostalgia bullshit. Of course I was looking forward to this movie. I wasn't looking forward to Ty Sheridan's fucking monologuing.
My name's Wade Watts. My dad picked that name because it sounded like a superhero's alter ego. Like Peter Parker or Bruce Banner, sitting here in my tiny corner of nowhere. It's the only place that feels like I mean anything.
Cringe-tastic. Yeah, but this movie was just This movie was a trip, I'll tell you that. I would say, let's just get this right out of the way. I think this has some of the best visual effects of all time. Even it might even top Avatar. I'm not even being hyperbolic. The visuals in this movie almost made my eyes pop out of my head. When Steven Spielberg isn't trying to force like shitty references down your throat every 5 minutes, it's actually insanely entertaining. I mean, it's mostly due to the visual effects and the action sequences, but it's still fucking entertaining as hell. It's some of Spielberg's best action-wise. It's the story that brings it down for me, especially since it's following Ty Sheridan, and yeah, he's the worst part of this movie. Are you willing to fight? Every line, it just sounds like he's not interested in being here. Ty Sheridan ended up being miscast because he sounded like a jock pretending to be a nerd. And it was so clear, like, he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing in this. And he has, like, no comic timing. That was, like, one of my problems with... Just a second. Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse. I don't own it. I got it from the library. Don't judge me. He does suck in that movie. Even though that movie's pretty underrated. But this movie sucks even more because it's a fucking Spielberg movie and you're the lead character. How about you have some energy to you? Everything he says in this movie feels so disingenuous and it's so annoying. And the fact that he gets to make out with so many hot girls in all of his movies. Like, he made out with 2 hot girls at Scouts Guide. He makes out with Olivia Cooke in this movie, who's also, like, one of the best parts of this movie. I'm Wade Watts. It sounds like Peter Parker. He's like a slightly, like, less irritating version of Tom Holland. Just because I've seen movies with Ty Sheridan where I do like him in, but as of late, he's been... Don't put him as your lead. There's a scene in this movie where, like, he's, spoiler alert, but he's yelling at Ben Mendelsohn, and he's like, "Oh, you killed my mother's sister." And I'm like, why couldn't you just say aunt? You killed my aunt. No one talks like that, Ty Sheridan. I'm not even gonna blame the fucking script for that. I'm just gonna blame Ty Sheridan for that, because that's just weird. And then the world building for this movie is kind of embarrassing, because I really thought throughout this entire movie that Ben Mendelsohn's company that he's running and he's like the head of, I thought that was like controlling the world. Like, I thought there was no cops or anything or government. But no, by the end of this movie, there's fucking cops. There's scenes in this movie where people are just running in the sidewalk, and I thought you were going to see them like bump into a wall or a lamppost, but no, you never see that at all. That would have been funny. And realistic, too. I thought the rest of the cast, like I said, Olivia Cooke was really good. It was awesome to see Lena Waithe and TJ Miller both steal scenes in a Spielberg movie. Ben Mendelsohn, I thought, did a really good job, even though his character was given absolutely nothing to do. I don't think the references are really that bad in terms of, like, the actual virtual reality world. Like, I don't mind seeing a bunch of characters we recognize, as long as the movie isn't, like, keep reminding us about it. Like, I think a lot of the dialogue is like that, though, and that's a big problem. Like, I don't like certain lines in this movie where it's just like Ty Sheridan says, "Oh, well, a fucking true gamer could spot a hater," or some bullshit like that. And the last line of this movie is so goddamn annoying. Oh my god. He said, "Just like Mr. Halliday said, reality is worth living," or some bullshit. It was so annoying and corny, and then it just cuts to fucking Hall & Oates to the end credits. It was so strange. Mark Rylance, though, was pretty awesome in this movie. I don't know why I paused. He was really awesome in this movie. I liked him a lot. I thought he was way better in this than fucking Bridge of Spies. One of the best scenes of this movie was this Shining reference. It was awesome. It's a huge mess, this movie, but there's a lot of fun to be had, and the visuals are really like the big selling point for the film. And while Ty Sheridan is the worst thing about the movie, I would say that he's not bad enough for you to get distracted by the whole grand scheme of it all, because it's very interesting. It's just fucking sloppily told.
Help us save the Oasis.
The world of tennis has never before seen anything quite like this.
Next up is the new tennis biopic, Borg vs. McEnroe. Now, while this neon-produced biopic isn't as engaging as I, Tonya, which was my favorite movie of last year, this movie is still pretty solid. It mostly follows Bjorn Borg, even though all the marketing is focusing on Shia LaBeouf.
Question, jerk off! Answer the question! The ball's on the line! Chuck flop all over, man!
I'm going to issue you a warning for unsportsmanlike behavior.
Seriously, most people are going to walk into this movie expecting the Shia LaBeouf show. He's in only like half of it. And the guy who plays Bjorn Borg is actually very good, and he's going to play the Daniel Craig role in the rebooted sequel, whatever, of The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, directed by Fede Alvarez, coming in November. And I have high hopes for that guy, because I thought he did a very good job playing Bjorn Borg. But his story isn't as compelling or as interesting as Shia LaBeouf's story as John McEnroe. Shia LaBeouf is absolutely incredible in this.
What do you have to say about your behavior?
Let's talk about tennis. Does anybody have any tennis
Do
questions?
you expect anyone to root for you in the final against Borg?
Look, I get that you got your hero, you know, your gentleman, Borg, and you need a villain.
Shut up!
You'll never be remembered as one of the greats. You know why? Because nobody likes you. The only thing people are gonna say is,
You cannot be serious!
Wasn't he that crazy guy that always yelled at the umpire?
It's one of his very best performances, and if this movie came out in the fall of last year, I definitely think he could have been in the consideration for Best Supporting Actor. I do think that this movie should be looked at just because of how great he is. And the movie is definitely very well directed. I do think the tennis scenes are more interesting than Battle of the Sexes tennis scenes were. It's not that memorable. I mean, if you want to see a better version of this story, then just watch the HBO documentary about it. It's absolutely fantastic. The only reason you really need to watch this is Shia LaBeouf. That's it.
You don't understand what it takes to play tennis.
But people are talking more
You know,
about
I go out there and I give everything for this game. Everything. Everything in me gets left out on that court. And none of you understand it because none of you do it.
Next up, at number 11, is Golden Exits, directed by Alex Ross Perry. And I really don't have much to say about it. It's a very well-made film, very delicate film, very good performances from Emily Browning, Jason Schwartzman, Adam Horowitz from the Beastie Boys, and especially Mary Louise Parker, who's a scene stealer. Other than that, I don't have anything to say about it. Number 10, I have the Cloverfield Paradox. Calm the fuck down. I like this movie. I thought it was awesome that it just came out right after the Super Bowl was on. I thought that was hysterical, and it was just another movie I could watch. That's awesome. I thought it was really entertaining. It had absolutely no right to be as good as it was, but I was entertained almost the whole way through just because of the cast. Most of the scenes that were reshot, apparently, in post-production was definitely apparent, and it was definitely apparent that they were trying to connect it more to the Cloverfield universe, especially more than 10 Cloverfield Lane did. And I thought this movie did a slightly better job incorporating those aspects. But other than that, it is sloppy in points. There's some points that it doesn't make sense just for the sake of not making sense. And I thought the writers were a little lazy about it. I thought a lot of the visuals were really awesome. Most of the cast really elevated it for me. I really like ensemble movies where most of the cast seems to give a shit. And I thought most of the actors in this movie were really good. Like, I love Gugu Mbatha Raw. It's best name in Hollywood, by the way. Gugu Mbatha Raw, Gugu Mbatha Raw. It sounds like a chant. Then you got Chris O'Dowd, who's always reliably good. And then David Oyelowo is great in this. I really like John Ortiz, Daniel Bruhl. Askell Henny and Elizabeth Debicki were the two weak spots for me. But other than that, I had a good time with it. I'm a moron, I guess. I'm a fucking retard. I like the Cloverfield Paradox. Coming in at number 9 is Gringo, directed by Nash Egerton. And it stars David Oyelowo, Joel Egerton. I wonder how he got in the movie. I was actually really looking forward to this movie. It ended up being a really solid dark comedy. It was disappointing, like almost everything this year and last year. But I'm not, the world isn't going to tear me down yet. I like the performances in it. I thought David Oyelowo was terrific. I thought the script was a little flimsy. I thought Charlize Theron was really good. I like this movie. Also, Joel Egerton plays like the douchiest person of all time. But he's still really good in it. I don't really have much to say about it.
Oh, no, not the money.
You really believe in God?
Of course I believe in God. What kind of person does not believe in God?
I guess I kind of do, but not.
We haven't met yet. I'm Clint.
I don't care.
Coming in at number 8 is Black Panther. Yeah, I'm not racist, okay? I just didn't love this movie. I thought it was really good. It's directed by Ryan Coogler. It stars Chadwick Boseman, the black biopic guy. I love that guy. Michael B. Jordan, Lupita Nyong'o, Martin Freeman, Andy Serkis, Denai Guerrera, Angela Bassett, Sterling K. Brown. There's too many people in this movie. I kind of hate how everyone has been saying online about this movie. It's like they got every black actor in Hollywood to be in Black Panther. Meanwhile, I'm over here sitting and thinking, wait, isn't Samuel L. Jackson in the Marvel Universe and he's not even in this movie? They couldn't fit Nick Fury into this? Guess not, motherfucker. Yeah, I thought this movie was really good. I thought it was a really fun time. For this being like the first full-on action film for Ryan Coogler to go on and direct, I thought he did a really good job. Solid job with the action in this. The visuals in this movie, though, aren't really mind-blowing, and I don't really see why someone should see this in 3D at all. Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther did a really good job, and he carries the movie on his back, and He's also supported by a great supporting cast, including Letitia Wright, who plays his younger sister, even though she has one of the cringiest lines of the whole year. What are the... Angela Bassett's in this movie as his mom, and I guess she's alright, but like, there's this one scene where it's like slow motion and it zooms up on her face, and she goes, "Show them who you are!" And it's the fucking funniest shit to me. Daniel Kaluuya's not really in this movie for any particular reason other than to pout at Chadwick Boseman's character for not killing Andy Serkis. Andy Serkis actually steals this movie whenever he's on.
I can see you.
I really like Denai Guerrera, who played his female bodyguard. I thought she was terrific. She was one of the scene stealers to me. But of course, the creme de la creme of the cast is Michael B. Jordan as the villain. He's fantastic in this film. Yeah, Marvel gets shit on for not having compelling villains, and he's one of the very best, if not the best villain we've gotten from Marvel so far. Still, that kind of goes without saying that he's still kind of underdeveloped. I mean, they give us as much development as they can with this character, but still, I feel like there could have been 20 more minutes in this movie just dedicated to his character, and I wouldn't have been bothered by it. He's just oozing charisma in this film. He's hilarious at points. There's a scene where Chadwick Boseman comes back for this big battle, and then Michael B. Jordan just looks at him and goes, "What's up?" It's fucking priceless, his performance. The one person in the cast I really didn't like was Lupita Nyong'o. I thought Lupita Nyong'o in this movie, she sounded Italian whenever she said the character, the Black Panther's name. Like, his name is T'Challa, right? But every time in the movie she says T'Challa, she goes, "T'Challa, T'Challa molto bene, buone, T'Challa." That's what she sounded like to me. I do think that the movie ends up being like a little bit slight, and it's overlong, so I don't even understand that complaint I have with it. However, I am still really impressed by how talented of a filmmaker Ryan Coogler is. He put his heart and soul into this film, and I'm just glad it turned out being as good as it was, because this could have been a mess. Other than that, I really don't have much to say. I guess it's the highest grossing movie of the year so far, and it's pretty good. I liked it more than Ready Player One. Ryan Coogler made a better movie than Steven Spielberg. 2018. Coming in at number 7 is Unsane in the Membrane, directed by Steven Soderbergh. Yeah, I was looking forward to this movie. I mean, it was shot on a fucking iPhone. Hey, I can take my phone, I can make a movie. Hey, oh. Yeah, I don't want people to just think they can make a movie with their phone now after seeing this movie. He obviously put a lot of effort into it. I mean, he didn't just use the camera from the iPhone, okay? He probably just put like really like big lenses on it to like get more of a perspective. Who the fuck knows? All I know is that this movie probably wouldn't have mattered as much if it wasn't shot on an iPhone, because it adds so much tension and suspense and just this creepy aesthetic that I don't think is going to be easy to mimic for a lot of other people who try to make a film like this. Soderbergh's a one of a kind. I do think the script for this movie is annoying as fuck. It's borderline annoyance porn. Not torture porn, annoyance porn. It follows Claire Foy, who involuntarily submits herself into a mental hospital, and I like how this movie explores that aspect of it, where it's just like, spoiler alert, by the way, for this movie. Halfway through the movie, we're just told, she's in this hospital because the hospital just wants to take her insurance money until she has none left. It's just a big scam, this whole operation that they're running. And all of the nurses in this movie are trying to be like the next Nurse Ratched. It's fucking annoying. Like, the one fat lady in this movie, who's the nurse that you see in the trailers, she is such a poor version of Nurse Ratched, I wanted to punch her in the face just for trying. And Joshua Leonard plays her stalker in this movie. And yes, halfway through the movie, you realize, oh, she's not fucking crazy. She really has a stalker. And yeah, I don't like how other people are actually walking out of this movie and saying, oh yeah, she was crazy the whole movie. No, she wasn't. She kept seeing him in other places because that's how crazy that stalking got. That she just has like a never-ending paranoia about it. And by the end of by the time the end of this movie rolls around, we finally understand, wow, this event in her life is going to fuck her up completely. And I think Claire Foy, it goes without saying, it's one of the best performances of the year so far. And Jay Farrow from fucking SNL is also terrific in this movie as like her one confidant in the hospital. Joshua Leonard, though, on the other hand, is pretty horrible in this. There's scenes in this movie that I've talked with other people, and they say that his scenes are supposed to be played for laughs because of like the way he's acting and like he's crying. No, I just think it's really badly acted. His scenes, at least. I also was kind of mad that Juno Temple was in this movie because she's proven to be an absolutely fantastic actress in films like Killer Joe. She's just reduced to being a stereotype in this movie, and the only reason why she's in this movie is just to end up getting killed, and I was really annoyed by that. A lot of this movie is just the same thing for like 30 minutes, where it's just like, oh, I'm not crazy, what are you doing? Oh, no, don't. Rinse and repeat for like 20 minutes. By the end of the movie, it gets really cool, and I liked how it concluded itself, but if it ended on a different scene, I think this movie would be like an 8.5 out of 10. Right now, it's like a 7.5. Just because like the ending shot of this movie and the cut to credits is really obnoxious, and I wasn't really a fan of it. But Steven Soderbergh, in terms of the Battle of the Bergs, who had a better film this year? Steven Soderbergh or Steven Spielberg? The Battle of the Steven Bergs? Steven Soderbergh! Obviously, it's ranked higher on this video. You're a moron if you didn't think that. Numero 60 is David Wayne's A Futile and Stupid Gesture. It's another Netflix movie, and you made a good one this time, Netflix. Yeah! Now, David Wayne, of course, has directed Role Models, Wet Hot American Summer, and Wanderlust. I fucking love Role Models. And this movie is a biopic of the National Lampoon magazine and how that came to fruition. It stars people like Will Forte, Domhnall Gleeson, Thomas Lennon, Joel McHale. It's not a typical biopic. It's only an hour and 40 minutes, and it's very comedic. It's a comedic biopic. It's a comedy, this movie, and it's about the National Lampoon guys, so this movie gets a pass. And it's very unique in that way, is that it's not trying to, like, fucking shove drama down your throat. It's not trying to be all depressing about these events. I think it showcased these people in the most lovable of ways, and I thought everyone in this film was giving it their all. I thought Will Forte this is like his best performance in a very long time. I thought he was fucking great in this movie. Domhnall Gleeson, it's so great to see the range that guy has. I've seen him in movies like Ex Machina and Frank and Unbroken, and he's really one hell of an actor. And Joel McHale ironically plays Chevy Chase. I know, before you comment. They were on Community together, Dustin. Community was a show that started in 2009. I know. Joel McHale, he took some notes, I guess, while working with Chevy Chase, because he was fantastic in this movie and actually humanized Chevy Chase in a lot of ways. He actually made Chevy Chase seem likable. I'd say that if I have any problems with this movie, it's kind of like the problem I had with The Disaster Artist, is that this movie could have been at least 20 minutes longer. I like my movies long if they need to be long, and this movie needed to be a little bit longer. I think it definitely rushed itself in the third act, but it was a very heartfelt ode to a very funny man, Doug Kenny. Rest in peace. Brought to you by Doritos Blaze. Keep the blaze on, man. Coming in at number 5 is Den of Thieves. This is a movie people didn't like at all, and I really liked it a lot. It's directed by Christian Gudekest, and it's his directorial debut. It stars Gerard Butler, O'Shea Jackson Jr., Pablo Schreiber, and 50 Cent. The trailers for this movie amp me the fuck up. I love some good old heist movies, bag. While this movie isn't great, I had a lot of fun with it. Is it a little long? Sure. Is it a little bonkers? Sure. Is the heist fun as fuck? Sure. Is the violence awesome as fuck? Sure. Cliff Martinez has kind of an underwhelming score. Gerard Butler is fucking awesome in this movie. This is the craziest performance he's ever given. I love him in movies like Law Abiding Citizen and Olympus Has Fallen, but this might be my favorite performance of his yet. I thought he was great as this character. He easily has two of the best scenes of this movie, and they're both with his wife. And the wife wasn't a very good actress, but he's fucking fantastic in both of those scenes. I don't think there's gonna be a more badass scene in a movie than Gerard Butler signing divorce papers and threatening his wife's date in the same room. And his camaraderie with O'Shea Jackson Jr., who's also terrific and has yet to give a bad performance in the film. And Pablo Schreiber is a goddamn beast in this movie. I can't wait to see what he does next in the film. 50 Cent's really the only one in this movie that's... He didn't need to be here. Everyone's saying that his one scene in the movie where he's like harassing his daughter's prom date is like the best scene, and I'm like, that's like the most pointless scene of the movie. By the end, it does get a little nuts. A little might be, stretching it. It gets a lot nuts. I have the best critiques. No, but it kind of goes for like a Usual Suspects thing without giving anything away. And people are comparing this movie to like Heat. It's being called like the 7-Eleven version of Heat. And while it isn't Heat, how you doing? I got fucking problems.
Baby, I've been fucked up. Girl, you got me fucked up.
Yeah, it's nowhere near as good as Heat. Also, I don't really think it's trying to be. I mean, it's this guy's fucking directorial debut. I don't think he's trying to make a fucking Michael Mann level movie. And apparently there's going to be a sequel to this movie. Why not? Fuck it, right? We're all going to die soon. Coming in at numero 40 is I Love You, Daddy. I'm going to get a lot of hate for this. It's the Louis C.K. film. I'm counting it as a 2018 film because it was kicked off the awards calendar and the awards race. And yeah, I'm counting it. It's a movie that deserves to be talked about. This is one of the most honest scripts for a movie that I've seen in a while. It follows Louis C.K. He's a popular television showrunner, similar to himself, and he has a daughter similar to himself, who's has sort of a friendship, maybe relationship with a idol filmmaker played by John Malkovich. He's playing like a Woody Allen type, and John Malkovich is absolutely outstanding in this film as that character. Even if this movie sucked, see it for him. But the movie doesn't suck. It's very intelligent, very well written, very well acted, except maybe Chloe Moretz, who I feel her performance is a little bit on the nose. And in typical Louis fashion, some of the scenes could come off as a little mean-spirited. But I think his heart, not his dick, was in the right place. And I know a lot of you have these very strong opinions about how, like, all these predators in Hollywood get ahead of the system, man, because they're powerful and men. What he did really wasn't that awful. Was it weird? Yeah. Fucking really weird. But he's still a fucking comedic genius. He's a comedic genius who likes to jerk off in front of girls. I mean, he didn't rape anybody. I gotta shut the fuck up. And compared to his other film that he directed, Pootie Tang, this is the fucking Godfather, okay? And yeah, man, I mean, this cover was 2013, bro. Like, he already looked sorry before all this happened. I mean, he's not, like, come on, just forgive me. He's a nice guy. I mean, he's like my favorite stand-up ever.
And on the way here, I saw a bumper sticker on a car, and it said, tell your girlfriend I said thanks. How does he know I'm not behind him just getting mad and crazy, taking it personal, motherfucker? I follow him home. I get out of my car in his driveway with a pipe. What the fuck does that mean? Thank her for what exactly? Wait a minute, you fucked my girlfriend? Then you made that bumper sticker and found me in traffic and got in front of me? Motherfucker. And I just beat him to death with a pipe right there in his driveway.
You see, you didn't need anything else to add on to that joke.
And jerk off on his corpse.
Louis, you have a fucking problem. Number 3 is Thoroughbreds, directed by Corey Finley. It's another directorial debut. Another impressive directorial debut. But not great. It's very good, though. It stars Anya Taylor-Joy and Olivia Cooke. They're both outstanding in this movie, especially Olivia Cooke. This is her big breakout performance, in my opinion. I liked her. This is her best performance. compared to Ready Player One and Me and Earl and the Dying Girl. And yeah, I got my arms crossed. I'm a boss. The late, great Anton Yelchin, who got murdered by his car. Poor soul. Great in this movie. This is a hell of a last performance if you're ever to have one. Yeah, I'm gonna miss him a lot. This is a strong 8.5 out of 10. That's all I have to say about it. Number 2 is Game Night, the best comedy of the year. It's directed by Jonathan Francis Daly and Jonathan Goldstein. They directed Vacation, and I like that movie. But they also wrote The First Horrible Bosses, which is one of the best comedies of this decade. Absolutely. And this movie stars Jason Bateman and Rachel McAdams. They play a cute little married couple, and they have a weekly game night with all their friends, played by people like Sharon Horgan, Billy Magnuson, Lamorne Morris, Kylie Bunbury, his brother Kyle Chandler. On one particular night, during the game night, shit goes crazy. This was a hell of a ride, this movie. I thought it wasn't a laugh-a-minute comedy, but it was very well written, very well structured. It kind of gets a little crazy near the end, but I was with it the whole way through. The entire cast is terrific. Jason Bateman and Rachel McAdams have some of the best married couple chemistry I've seen in a movie in a very long time.
What is helpful in country living?
Oh, that's for later. There's a corn chowder recipe that looks really good.
Oh,
you love corn
sweet.
chowder,
I do.
huh?
Yeah.
Jason Bateman is reliably terrific as usual, but it's Rachel McAdams, in my opinion, that ends up practically stealing the entire movie. This might be like her best performance ever. Even though the movies haven't been that great this year, actors have been improving, and they've been giving a lot of their career best performances, I've been realizing throughout this video. Jesse Plemons and Billy Magnuson are MVP scene stealers in this movie. Absolutely hysterical. I also really love Kyle Chandler. I think he's becoming one hell of a character actor. Other than that, that's all I have to say about this movie. That, and it has one of Cliff Martinez's absolute best scores.
Yes! Oh no, he died!
Number 1, let's do it. It's Alex Garland's Annihilation. This movie was awesome. Natalie Portman is bae. Gina Rodriguez is bae. Terrific female cast. Terrific sci-fi. I feel like this movie was like the rubber of sci-fi movies, where it was just like the whole movie was just like, hey, what's the point of this? But in like the most unpretentious way. Alex Garland is one of the freshest voices we have in sci-fi today. I mean, he's written Dread, Ex Machina, and now this. All in this decade. That's really fucking impressive. Amazing visuals. This has one of the best alien scenes, if you can call it that, up there with Fire in the Sky. I'm not kidding. It has one of the best climaxes you'll see in any movie. It's a little slow. The ending, when I first saw the movie, the ending kind of like bothered me, but as I kept thinking about the movie, it bothered me less and less. And I think it's a terrific film, and I'm really mad it's bombing at the box office. Thanks for watching this video. I know this is like excessively long, but I don't know, I had a fun time making it. Remember, Doritos Blaze. Do I got any left? Oh, fuck Doritos Blaze.
Keep the blaze on, man.